Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're making these super adorable paper Easter baskets. And you're going to be able to grab both of these free SVG files from my blog at svgnation.com. And there is a link in the video description that will take you directly there, as well as links to the supplies that I'm using in case you want to check any of those out. So once you get that file, go ahead and upload that to Cricut Design Space. So there are two. There is a bunny one and like this little chick one. And both of them are modified in the same way. So I'm just going to bring one into my canvas to show you guys. So go ahead and bring that in. And I'm just going to zoom out so that you guys can see everything a little bit better. And the first thing that you want to do is go ahead and ungroup your layers, unless you want to resize this actually. If you want to resize it, keep it grouped. You're not going to be able to go bigger with this, but you can make it smaller. So just keep it grouped, use the little arrow and resize it smaller if you want to make these a little bit smaller. And then after you've done that, go ahead and ungroup your layers. Because there are a few lines on here that we need to modify, just like on any of the other box projects that I have. So if you look right here on this one, you see these lines right here. We're just going to click on this group of lines that you see grouped together and change that operation to score, because this is going to be your score lines for your Cricut. Now, if you're not using a scoring tool, it's not really a big deal. You can easily fold this by hand, but you will need to delete these lines instead. So after you change those, go ahead and click right above, because it's already grouped with the layer it's going to score on, and make sure that you attach those. A lot of people forget that step, and then your score lines aren't in the right place, and so it's really important that you make sure you attach those. And we're going to repeat this on this piece as well. So let's go ahead and click on those lines right there that are grouped together, and let's change that operation to score, and then just click right above it. That way we can attach it. And other than that, this is ready to go. On this bottom piece right here, this belongs, like, these are your 3 box pieces. And then these 4 yellow pieces, these are the pieces on the outside of the box where I'm using like the decorative scrapbook paper. So go ahead and connect your Cricut and go ahead and cut everything out, and then we'll... All right, once you have everything cut out, go ahead and grab your 2 box base pieces. And so you're gonna start just by folding on these score lines, because this is gonna help give you guides for gluing everything down to make sure you glue them on the right side. So all we're doing is folding these in. And we have one right here, 2 down the middle. And then we're also going to do it on this side as well. We've got 1 down the middle here, 1 on the end. Got this one on the bottom here, and then go ahead and fold that piece up as well. Okay, so next what we're going to do is you've got to figure out which one's going to be the inside and what side's going to be the outside so that you can glue these on. So go ahead and look at your box, and when you piece these together you need like the tab pieces. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to fold these ones back the other way because it didn't line up right. So this is why folding this first is going to be helpful. That way you make sure that you glue everything on the right side. So now you see this is going to line up to where I can attach these sides together, and then I can attach those sides together. So right here we have the middle of my box. So I'm going to lay these with the outside down flat while we glue on the little decorative pieces. Now if you didn't want to use these pieces, that's fine. You could just skip this step, but I'm going to go ahead and add them on. So we don't have one for here because this is the bottom of the box, but we have them for the other 4 sides. So when you glue this down, you're just gluing it down with just a little border around all the edges. And you can kind of see where that score line is since you folded on it to kind of get an idea of where you're gluing with this. And you can smooth that down with your brayer. That's going to help smooth that glue out and help make that nice and smooth on your paper. And we're just going to glue the next side down as well. Now we're just going to grab the other layer. The one that's a square, this one's going to go where the bunny is. And we're just kind of lining that up. And so this scrapbook paper that I have right here, I actually got this from Hobby Lobby. They do sell it by the sheets there. They do it at Michael's as well, but you can also order it off like Amazon and other stores as well. So it just depends on what is the easiest solution for you. And I will leave a link for some cute Easter pattern papers in the video description. That way if you don't have any craft stores near you, then you can use that to order it. Alright, so once you have all of those glued down, we're going to go ahead and assemble the box. So we're going to start with this piece right here. We're just going to fold this bottom in, and all you're doing right now is you're just going to fold this piece in and glue it right on top of the bottom. And a lot of people also ask me about this glue that I'm using, so I'll leave a link for it. It's a great craft glue for paper crafts. But really any kind of craft glue is going to work. Hot glue works great for making boxes too. You just have to make sure that you work quick since it does dry. But any kind of craft glue is going to work for this. If you do want to check out this glue, it's great. I'll leave a link for it in the video description. Alright, so next we're going to go ahead and attach this box together by gluing it to this piece right here, and then we're also going to glue the bottom down here. So I'm going to start with this side piece. We're just lining that up, and those little bunny pieces should kind of go over the edge of that. So that is correct right there. And it could make it easier to lay it down on the side, so you can kind of slide that up to the edges real good. Alright, so now I'm just going to attach the bottom. I'm just going to add some glue right here and glue that right inside. And it can help to stand that box up so that you can line that up and press it down that way. And now we're just finishing with gluing, let me fold that in better, this bottom tab piece right on top of that box, and this one right inside to close everything up. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the bottom for this one. Oops, fold that in. And just press that down to around the outside. And then we'll close it right here with this side piece. It's helpful to just kind of lay that down so you can press down and kind of line it up. That way you can easily see if it's lined up with the edge this way. So once you have all that assembled, you're going to add this white square piece to the bottom. That way you can kind of hide where those little tab pieces are glued in. We're just going to add glue to this. And I'm just going to drop this down. And this is square, so it doesn't matter like which way it goes. Just like that, we already have our basket shape made. So this basket is pretty deep, so you can fill it with grass and then stuff on top. So it's a pretty good size. But now we're going to move on to the bunny. So we're just going to set this aside to dry. And go ahead and grab your bunny pieces. So for your bunny, you should have this white layer. And don't forget to grab that tooth off the mat also, because it is going to cut separate. And then you'll have your little black face, your gray, and your pink. Oh, I forgot to poke that out. Of course, you can make these any colors you want. These are just the colors that I went with. So I'm going to start by attaching the gray on top of the pink. But before we get started, you do want to line this up with your box because you want to make sure you glue everything on the right side. So you want to line that up. The easiest way is to line the hair up. So if you see those ears are not lining up, then go ahead and flip that over. Alright, so now this seems to be lining up just fine now. So this is going to be this front side, the side that we're going to glue everything on. So again, before I add glue to this, I want to just line it up and make sure it is the right side. So that's going to be really important, because if you assemble this bunny and then it doesn't line up, you're going to have to start all over. So just make sure you take your time and you figure out which way everything goes before you add your glue. So I'm just going to layer this gray on top of the pink. Alright, so then this a black layer goes on next. Again, line it up. Make sure those sides are lining up really good. The mouth is lining up good. Because if you have it on the wrong side, it's not going to look as good. So if you see this side's not really lining up very well there, but it lines up perfectly on this side, that's how I know which side I need to go with. So I'm going to add glue over here. Alright, and then we have our bunny face. And again, take the time to line that up first, and then you can go ahead and glue it down. And then don't forget about that little tooth. You can kind of place it and see if a different side looks better than the other for you. And then go ahead and place that tooth down. Just going to glue that right over the other tooth. So next we have our bow, and I did that with this pretty little polka dotted color. So what you're going to do is flip that over and add some glue right here to this circle, and bring one of those circles in and just glue it right in place. You are going to have to hold that down for a second, unless you're using hot glue, just so that it can press and get a hold of it. And then go ahead and add glue on top of that circle. We're going to glue that other circle down. And then just kind of hold that in place to give it a second to dry. Alright, and now next we're going to add the bunny to the box. So now you can either glue this on top, or you can use like foam dots if you want more of a 3D effect. I'm actually going to glue this today, so I think the bow gives it enough fun for that 3D effect. Alright, so I'm just going to lay this down so I can glue this right on top. Just going to line it up with those ears. That's how you're going to know where it goes. Once that's in place, you can go ahead and glue your bow on. So for the bow, remember this box is going to sit, so you want to make sure that the bow doesn't go further than where the box sits. So you can kind of lay the box like this and measure there, but I like to put it just a little bit above, so I kind of glue it right here on the chin just to give it that little space to make sure the box is going to sit all right. So I'm just going to add some glue here. You can go out a little bit too if you want to press it down a little bit. And so I'm just going to glue it right on the bottom of the chin, making sure I have room for my box to sit right here. Just kind of press that down. And that's all there is to it. So this box is all, or really, I don't know why I'm calling it a box. This basket is all ready to go. It's all ready to fill with Easter goodies. So you're going to assemble the basket that has the chick on it the same way. So I'm not actually going to show you how to do that since I just did. But there is one thing that I really wanted to point out that's going to be important. So for this one, if you notice, I'm using a paper that I can only use one side of it. So it's going to be really important which side is the outside for this box. So you're just going to want to take your chick and line it up right here. And that way you're going to know which one is the outside of the box. For the bunny box, it really didn't matter. Because the bunny pieces I could put either way, but if you're using a pattern paper, just make sure that you line this up. And so this is going to be the side where I glue on like all my decorative pieces and everything, and it'll be the outside when I assemble it. So I have the other basket assembled, and I've got most of the chick put together, but I wanted to go ahead and bring you guys back on here because I want to show you how you guys can add a little bit of dimension to this. So what you're going to do is use like some foam dots or foam tape. Either one will work, and you're just going to kind of place them randomly. You do want to get around the edges, but you also want to get a few in the middle as well. So once you have those kind of randomly placed, you'll just need to peel off the backing off of each of these pieces. Alright, so once you have all those little pieces removed, you're just going to place this over top. And then just kind of press it down a little bit. And so what that does is it kind of gives like that little 3D effect, like the chick is actually inside like the egg. So it looks really cool. And I'm going to do the same piece with this top. So I just have those randomly placed, and I'm just going to place this right on top. Then we just have our little feet to add on. And you can either glue these down, or again, you can use the foam dots. I'm going to use the foam dots because I think it's going to look cool. Alright, so I'm just adding the little feet in place. And then we're just going to glue this to our basket. Doing this right to the front, lining it up. And again, you could use those foam dots to attach it there, but since I've already used them for the egg and the feet, I'm just going to leave it like this, glued on. So if you don't like that you can kind of see that white for the foam dots, there's a little trick. You can actually just take like a marker and color around the outsides that you're going to see. You don't need to do that top part, but if you just kind of color around the outsides, that's going to help them blend in a little bit better. So you guys can just fill these up with goodies. They're super cute, just a fun little way to give a little treat. If you guys were looking for something smaller and quicker to put together, I do also have this template for like these little mini boxes, so you can really see the size difference here. So these are going to be great. Put a little grass in here and like maybe one egg or one small treat. So these are much better for a large gathering that you want to give people a gift for. But if you guys have any questions on how to make any of this, you know, make sure to ask those in the comments and I will answer them there. And if you're watching, make sure to say hi so I can see who's here. And before you go, make sure to like this video and subscribe. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.